do think Tom, as far as the crop and yeah, again, he's not even that active, but as far as active fighters, Tom's the best heavyweight we have to offer. That being said, and I love Tom, I'm a big believer in Tom, but there are some holes in his game if you watch enough fighting. Even though he's starching everybody, he's not starching elite level guys. He's beating and demolishing guys that are offered to him, but the heavyweight division has never been weaker. So you're basically the king of the mediocre heavyweight division. But again, not his fault. But with saying that, it goes to show that Tom does have some issues in his game that at a certain level will get exposed. So if you bring up Tom's record, my issue for Tom is, so Tom's one of the most athletic. Gane might be the only more athletic heavyweight in the division, but Tom's fucking right up there. So Tom's big, he's fast, he's athletic. He has jiu-jitsu as far as we know.
I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, right, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250 because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Ciryl, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Ciryl just did some weird stuff. And John, you don't make mistakes against John.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Tom came out and said, no, I'm not going to rematch him. He's a cheater. Why would I rematch a guy that already cheated, that violated not one of my eyes, but both? I gave him his chance. He chose to cheat. I'm going to move on. If Tom took that stance, which he's not going to do, I'm saying, but for fun, yeah, I think he'd have a lot of people that supported him. For some reason, Ciryl has come out of this thing with his hands clean. He's the one that did the poking.
It was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. With protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. He couldn't see. Then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes here like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye, his eye wasn't following properly, so the muscles weren't working strong enough to go this way. This one just wasn't working that good at all. So we've got to have additional tests further this week, and Moyes is sorting the tests out for us, and he's got to have a CT scan.
It was a significant eye poke. It wasn't like a little scratch.
Yeah.
It was, they went in. They were proper eye pokes, and Tom clearly was in a lot of pain. There's people saying online, well, he was saying multiple times, I can't see. If he wanted to continue, he shouldn't be saying that. The reality is, if he can't see...
Tell the truth.
If you can't see, you're allowed to say you can't see. People might point at me and say, well, you fought with one eye. Yeah, that was a secret because I shouldn't have been fighting. You know, Tom is the champion of the world. He doesn't want to go out there when his vision is impaired or vision is massively affected and potentially lose a fight that was shaping up to be a difficult fight. Ciryl Gane was on point tonight. He was looking good. We saw the damage on Tom's face. This was not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. He didn't want to continue with his vision damaged or not being able to see, so I don't blame him. The crowd were upset. I get that. They were frustrated. They've flown in from other countries. They've spent a lot of money. They've bought tickets, and the fight ends like that. I don't think the frustration was on Tom. I think the crowd was just annoyed at the situation.
Behind closed doors, Tom Aspinall's team revealed that his vision still hasn't fully recovered, and doctors expect a long healing process ahead. Tom has stayed mostly silent, only sharing that the entire ordeal has left him mentally exhausted and frustrated. His father, Andy Aspinall, admitted the toughest part hasn't been the injury itself. It's been watching people question his son's heart when all Tom has ever done is show commitment and bravery. Joe Rogan summed it up best. You can earn another title, but you can't replace your eyesight. The MMA community remains split. Some think Tom made the only responsible call, while others say he could have pushed on. But one thing is certain, this moment will forever mark his journey. Whether you cheer for him or not, everyone will be watching when Tom Aspinall steps back into that cage.
Does Dana White hate Tom Aspinall? Because in the post-match press conference, he was going at his heavyweight champion like he absolutely did not like him.
I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight.
And his key word there is didn't. He didn't say Tom Aspinall couldn't continue, insinuating that he's a quitter. I don't know if it's because Andy Aspinall's saying Tom wants to go to boxing and he'd love a big payday in boxing, but that's just Andy being a manager and a dad negotiating. I'm going to be honest, I'll give Dana the benefit of the doubt. He could have easily just misspoke. And it's the fact that if you do watch the YouTube that Aspinall put out, Dana White's in the locker room before wishing him all luck. I'm sure he's on good terms with Tom Aspinall and his father, because Dana White, let's be honest, if he doesn't have Tom Aspinall, he doesn't have a heavyweight division. If you saw the other heavyweight fights that were on this UFC 321 card, absolute ass.
Beautiful jab, circling all around. He won that round. Both those guys, for being heavyweight, can move so well on their feet. God, that was going to be such a sweet fight. And I thought Tom was going to go out there and kind of run through Ciryl. That was going to be a very interesting fight. I mean, I guess running it back makes sense. Post-fight reaction from Tom Aspinall. What the fuck you booing? I'm the one that got poked in the fucking eye. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not the one that fucking poked him. I get it, you're frustrated. I don't think the fans weren't booing at Tom for not continuing. I don't think the fans are booing because, you know, it sucks. It's the main event, you want to see a fight. But every time like a first reaction happens, a nut shot, an eye poke, you don't think it's, all right, it's gonna get stopped. And when it does, it sucks. Oh God, I remember when the Pedro fight got stopped. It was in the second round, and I was feeling like I would just get started. And you just see those guys heartbreak in there, just not being able to compete and do what they love to do. They put all this work in. I think you turn it around, immediate rematch, as long as Tom's eye's good.
Anthony? No, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed. I talked all day yesterday. Like, I just want to see Tom have to overcome some adversity. I want to see what he does when when his first plan of action doesn't work. What's he checked down to? Is he gonna wrestle? Can he compete with Ciryl Gane on his feet for 25 minutes? And I don't get any of those answers, and just like everybody at home, I'm disappointed.
Being poked in the eye is illegal, Brendan, but to fight with one eye is very common. The opponent's trying to hit your eye, he's trying to bust up and make your nose bleed. So that part of it does have question for guys like Anthony and I. We're trying to be polite, we're trying to show grace, but in all fairness, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you got to fight with one eye at times.
Many fans are split on what really happened. Some claim Tom Aspinall used the eye poke as an excuse to end the fight early, while others insist the injury looked genuinely serious. Joe Rogan decided to break it all down himself. On a recent episode of his podcast, he analyzed the footage in slow motion, highlighting how deep Ciryl Gane's fingers actually went into Aspinall's eye. Rogan remarked, "People downplaying that moment don't realize how dangerous eye injuries in MMA can truly be."
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that John Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
A great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony. I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. That's really about it. That's the one thing that he's setting up real nice. He couldn't touch Ciryl Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him. He was touching him. That jab, he busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game.
And he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. Be like just another up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And John, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
John Jones hasn't held back in recent interviews, throwing plenty of shade toward Tom Aspinall. He praised Tom as a talented athlete, but claimed he's too one-dimensional, saying his wrestling and jiu-jitsu are overhyped. Jones added that Aspinall has a clean 1-2 combo, but nothing beyond that. "I studied his last fight," John said. "He couldn't even touch Ciryl Gane. Gane was relaxed, hands down, bouncing around, finding his rhythm, while Tom looked lost." John even went as far as to say Aspinall was looking for a way out and took it when the eye poke happened. He argued that Tom avoids a fight with him because it's too much of a risk, comparing him to past challengers like Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. Exciting, but not worth risking his legacy for. Aspinall, of course, fired back, saying Jones's comments sound more like fear than strategy. "If you're not willing to gamble your legacy," Tom said. "That tells me you're scared to lose." Meanwhile, Joe Rogan defended Tom during his podcast breakdown of the fight footage. He pointed out that the injury looked legitimate, noting how quickly Tom's eye swelled and how he struggled to see. "People saying he faked it don't understand what those injuries feel like," Rogan said. "You can't fight blind, but not everyone shares that view." Analyst Ciryl Gane argued that Tom might have used the eye poke as a tactical exit, suggesting his calm reaction looked suspiciously controlled. That debate ignited a firestorm online, with fans and fighters taking sides over whether the injury was real or just convenient timing.
How do you stop eye pokes in the UFC? Andy Aspinall was in the hospital with Tom and saying,
I think it would be useful to analyse the people who do it and get away with it in the fight, win the fight, and everybody forget that the guy get poked in the eye. I just think it's unfair.
I feel like this going forward, as soon as someone gets poked in the eye, accident or not, it's a point deduction. Doesn't need to be a disqualification, but they need to be losing something on the scorecard. Jim Miller fought at UFC 100, 200, and 300, and he said,
unfortunately, we are probably going to see someone lose an eye in the octagon.
And then also, on top of that, it was knuckle deep. He was 2 fingers deep into Tom's eyes. I could understand the booing a bit. They paid a lot of money for these tickets, have traveled many hours to get there. But anyone that's saying he was looking for a way out, you kind of are stupid.
Tom was poked in the eye. As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Ciryl did that on purpose. So, I also can't or am not mad at Ciryl. But I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame. But I don't quite know who to blame. Now, before we get to that, okay, there was a pretty interesting fight going on. The story going into this fight is Tom has the power to just go knock him out. We're not saying Tom's a better kickboxer. We get that Ciryl did that for many years of his life. We get that Ciryl had over 30 professional kickboxing bouts. But Tom is a little younger, a little bigger, shown to have a little bit better power if you just want to look at results, and has the ability to knock him out. However, if Tom tests that and doesn't knock him out, he'll just take him down and beat him up. I mean, this was the belief going in, guys. Tom was a 3.5 to 1 favorite. Tom told everybody that was willing to listen, I shouldn't be a 3.5 to 1 favorite.
Fans quickly pushed back against Ciryl Gane's remarks, calling them disrespectful toward one of MMA's most humble and disciplined athletes. Joe Rogan also didn't hold back. On his podcast, he defended Tom Aspinall, saying the idea that he quit was ridiculous. "Tom's not that guy," Rogan said. "He's fought through serious injuries before, even a torn knee, and still came back stronger. He waited over a year to return, only to get poked in the eye twice by the same opponent. That's not weakness, that's just terrible luck."